What you do? Okay. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Town of Babylon Zoning Board of Appeals. Please listen to the rules and procedures that will follow for tonight's meeting.
Good evening, and welcome to tonight's meeting of the Town of Babylon Zoning Board of Appeals. The following is the procedure that will be followed tonight. The matters will be called in the order they appear on the calendar, with adjourned matters being called at the end of the regularly scheduled matters. Matters cannot be heard prior to their published scheduled time. When your matter is called, please submit the affidavit of posting to the secretary and proceed to the podium and give your name and address. The chairperson will then swear you in and read into the record information we have from your application, comments from various town departments, and any correspondence received on your application. The chairperson will then ask you to make whatever presentation you wish to make to the board. After you have made your presentation, the board will ask whatever questions the board deems appropriate, and then we will ask for comments from the public. If you wish to speak for or against an application, we ask that you wait until you're acknowledged. Come forward, give us your name and address, tell us where your property is in relation to the property that's in question tonight, and then please direct your comments to the board, not the applicant or the applicant's representative. We have to keep a record, and we cannot do that if there are people talking over each other or cross conversations. If someone has spoken for or against an application, and they have said exactly the same thing that you wish to say, it will have the same force and effect in the record if you give your name and address, are sworn in, and say that you join in those comments. If you have anything additional to say, please don't hesitate to do so, but keep in mind that you will be given only one opportunity to speak. After the public has spoken, the board may ask the applicant to come back to answer any questions that may have come up as a result of the public comments, or for the applicant to summarize. When the applicant comes back to answer any additional questions, if that happens, that does not start a second round of public comments. Once the matter has been heard, various things may occur. The board may decide the application immediately. It may reserve decision. If the board reserves decision, that does not mean the matter is approved or denied. It just means that the board needs more time to decide, may want to go out and look at the site again, or might want to review the documents and testimony further before making a decision. In either event, the applicant will receive the board's decision in writing shortly after the board makes its decision. If the application is approved, that does not mean that you can then go ahead and start construction, or whatever it is that you requested from the board. You will have to wait for the building permit to be obtained from the building department before your go-ahead. On some occasions, the matter may be continued for another night. If it is continued, in most cases it will be for the submission of documents, a new survey, new plans, or something of that nature. If that's the case, no one needs to come back on the new date. The documents will be submitted and no further testimony will be taken. On rare occasions, a matter may be continued for future testimony. If that's the case, then people would have to come back to testify. If matters are adjourned at an open meeting on the scheduled date of hearing, no further notice need be given unless specifically required by the board on the date the adjournment is granted. 3 rules that may affect your ability to proceed tonight. 1. If the sign was not posted for 10 days, we cannot hold the hearing tonight. 2. If you commence this proceeding while you own the property, but no longer own the property, and you are here now to continue with the application, you will need either the written consent of the new owner or the new owner to be present for the hearing. This situation could come about if you sold your house or building, money was held in escrow at closing for a certificate of occupancy or permit, and you're here tonight to clear that up. Lastly, if your application is a commercial application, and it's other than a renewal, and there is more than one tenant in the building, then you need your landlord to be here. Is there any applicant that has any difficulty with those situations and would need an adjournment tonight?
Is there anyone that would need an adjournment? Please rise and join the board in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, before we begin, there are two applications. The first one is 24215, property located on Beachview Street in Copeg. That is going to be re-advertised, and it's going to be held on December the 19th. Is anybody here on that application? The second one is being adjourned, and that is application 24213, property Varo Enterprises, and it's being adjourned to December the 5th. Is there anybody here on that application? Okay. First application tonight is application 24217 of Trevon Morrison, property located in Amityville. Name and address for the record.
My name is Trevon Morrison. I reside at 19 Williams Avenue. And I'm here because
Okay, let me just read some stuff into the record, then you can testify. Oh, yeah. Do you affirm to tell the truth?
yes,
For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated November 14, 2024, environmental control memo dated November 18, 2024. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. A survey by Dylan Holgan dated June 3, 2024, tax map acting as an area map, and,
Chairman, there's 3 photographs.
okay. What would you like to tell us about the application?
why I need a shed?
Yeah, why are you here?
Yeah, I need a shed because I have, like, my garage is just overflowing. I have young kids and I'm getting big toys, bicycles. I just have a lot of stuff and, you know.
Okay. I'll turn the hearing over to Mr. Perotti.
Good evening, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Good, good. Just 2 questions. Why is the shed being located in that area?
There's honestly nowhere else to put it. I mean, I could bring it a little bit forward in the backyard, but according to the way the house is sitting on the property, there's not anywhere else I could put it.
So you wouldn't be able to move it to a more conforming location?
Not really, honestly.
What about moving it up a little bit more? Maybe another 2 feet? Or
What are kids gonna play? I mean, most of it is concrete. Once there's a big tree back there, and there's 2 pieces of concrete back there.
what about the corner?
That's the grass area.
Yeah, the grass area. What about
Yeah.
there? You don't want,
Along that wall, I wanted that all grass so they could play in the backyard.
okay.
Like the whole side.
Yeah, yeah.
And then everything else is like all concrete all the way back.
Mr. Chairman, I have no further questions.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none.
Chairman, make a motion to approve application 24-217.
Second.
All in favor? Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next application is application 24216 of Sean and Elisa Barrett, property located in Lindenhurst.
Yes.
Name and address for the record, please.
Elisa Barrett, 235 Baldwin Path, Deer Park.
Okay, and you affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated November 14, 2024, environmental control memo dated November 18, 2024. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. A survey by Barrett, Bonucci, and Van Weel dated April 9, 2024, tax map acting as an area map, and
Chairman, there's 8 photographs.
okay. Would you like to tell us about the application?
We just brought the overhang over because there was an issue with the flooding coming in. Whoever put the door or front window in every time it rained, it was coming right in and dropping right into the basement. And in the back of the house, the roof caved in on the 2nd floor, which is why the roof had to be changed to begin with. And when the roof got done, I had him bring it out. There's a concrete stoop that was already there, and it's resting right on it, not past it.
Okay, thank you. Turn the hearing over to Mr. Rigney.
How are you?
All right, how are you?
Question in regards to the overhang. Any further alterations are going to be done to that?
No, just putting vinyl soffit underneath it, that's about it.
You're not open?
No, it's going to be open.
Okay, the garage in the back, was that there when you purchased it?
Yes,
No changes to that?
no, just a new roof.
Any future changes to the garage at any time?
No,
No? It's gonna stay just the way it is?
yes.
Chairman, I got no further questions.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve application 24-216 with the condition that the front porch not be further enclosed.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Johnny?
Next application is application 24-212 of Amanda Bueno, property located in North Babylon. Can't forget that. Name and address for the record.
Good evening, Christina Bravin, Morano Expediting, 2938 Hempstead Turnpike, Levittown, New York.
And do affirm to tell the truth.
Yes, I do.
For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated November 14, 2024, Environmental Control memo dated November 18, 2024. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. A survey by William Hogan dated April 10, 2003, tax map acting as an area map, and
Chairman, we have 4 photographs in the site plan by Alexis Spiro, dated January 29, 2024.
okay, would you like to tell us about the application?
We are requesting permission to install a new sunroom with a setback of 6 foot instead of 12 feet, reduce total side yards from 30 feet to 13.5, and increase building area from 20% to 36.25. We are replacing the existing Florida room. It's in disrepair. It is not heated currently, and it will not be heated future state if we can install this new version. We are not encroaching into the side yard any further than the existing home or existing sunroom. It still follows along the same line of the house.
Thank you. Turn the hearing over to Ms. McCullough.
Okay, so you answered my question. No heating,
No
same
heating.
footprint.
Exact same footprint.
Perfect. I have no further questions.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none.
I'll put a condition. You agree to the condition that it not be heated?
Yes, we
It's
would
gonna be on the
accept
face of
a
the seal. Okay, perfect.
restriction, yes.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve application 24.
Yeah.
Wow. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve application 24212 with the condition that the sunroom not be heated.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Next application is application 24-210 and 24-211. Property located in West Babylon. Dr. Robert Corona.
Step down.
Good evening. Gerard Glass, 72 East Main Street in Babylon for the applicant.
Okay. For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated November 14, 2024. A Environmental Control memo dated November 20th, 2024. Just that the site abuts residential and they need to be cognizant of that. Fire Marshal's report dated November 21st, 2024, no violations. Suffolk County Planning memo dated November 21st, 2024, decision of local determination, take no position for or against. Tax map acting as an area map. And you're going to do both of them at the same time, I'm kind of?
That'd be great.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to read in this stuff on the other application, which is application 24-211, and also it's Dr. Robert Corona, and the property is located in West Babylon, and dated November 14, 2024. Environmental Control memo dated November 18, 2024. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. Tax map acting as an area map, and
Chairman, there's 6 photographs in the site plan by Raymond Donor, dated August 5th, 2024.
Okay. What would you like to tell us about the application?
Sure. This is a renewal of Dr. Corona's variance for All Pets Animal Hospital, which has been a fixture in the West Babylon community for 25-plus years. We have been back multiple times. I've personally been back and renewed this variance every 5 years, at least once or twice. Due to an oversight in his office, they missed this. And he is here personally tonight to apologize for that. He accepts responsibility. I'd like to blame it on COVID. It happened then. I don't know.
thank
I don't know
you.
what happened.
Thank
and I'm
you.
sick of the, and I'm sick of the COVID excuse.
That's ran out. That excuse has ran out. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's the reason I said I'd like to. But I honestly don't know. He is a veterinarian, and like many practitioners that are solo, he's on his own. He relies on his staff to do some of the business duties, but ultimately he understands and accepts responsibility. Curiously, there's never been any issue here. This came to the building department's attention by other reasons. He had a tenant that wanted some new appliances, and that was really the reason it was reported, not because of a neighbor complaint, because of noise odors. There's never been any of that. And historically, I don't think there's ever been a complaint, period, about the neighbors in connection with the operation of the practice. None of that has to do with the practice. It had to do with an apartment and one of the tenants in the apartment. He did pay a fine for the mistake. You know, we were brought into district court, as we well should have, and did pay our penance for this mistake. That deals with the issue of the renewal of the variance. But nothing has changed. No change in the number of employees, no change in hours, no noise complaints, no refuse complaints, no odors, no dog barking, no taking dogs for walks and then complaints from the neighbors because they're doing things on their lawn, none of that. No complaints. It's that simple. So, you know, he is here to personally to say, I'm sorry for not renewing this. In terms of the signs, this is the aspect of the application. Now the building department comes in and they do a forensic examination of the premises because they're annoyed with them. That's really what it is. That awning has been up since the beginning of time. You've renewed this variance multiple times because I know that the awning was there because I've been to the premises. The window signage is newer, and but still, it's been there for many years. I couldn't pick an exact date. So we had to go, we had the old receipt from the sign company for the awning, but we had to go get an architect to draw plans for that entire awning to legitimize it, even though it's been there for many years. The window sign variance that looks like it's a lot is, you know, planning has said it's really 10 window signs. It's kind of like one continuous window sign, but notwithstanding that, if you look in the package that I submitted, which includes the foil, it includes the, you know, which is all the other prior approvals. It also shows the picture of the premises, but most importantly, a picture of what goes on there and goes on throughout the town of Babylon. You know, these ordinances that say, you know, you've got to get a permit for every sign are really, you know, curious, because if you look at the stores right next door, there's a hardware store, then there's a supermarket. It goes on all over. This is actually pretty tasteful compared to the hardware store. So the hardware store would need about 400 permits for those signs, huge variance. So with that in mind, we would ask that, you know, this be considered to be within the character of the community, as evidenced by the photographs. And I think, you know, I'm glad he's not selling bologna, because there'd be a sale sign for the bologna there as well. You know how it is, you're sticking a sign on temporarily. This is a more permanent nature. They don't put any other signs up, you know. But I understand why the building department did what it did, and why planning enforced it the way they did. So now everything is legal if you approve it. We respectfully would ask for your approval. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. I'll turn the hearing over to Mr. Shepherd.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. I got really no problems other than you're 4 years late, but you explained that to us. This won't happen again, right?
It won't happen again. I'm going to put it in my diary right now. I'm not sure if I'll be here in 4 years, but
Yeah, it is.
that'll be his excuse then. My attorney retired.
Okay, I have no further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application?
Needs to be amended.
So, item one.
Amended.
Oh,
I didn't men-
okay, yeah. The variance all in connection with a portion of an existing building.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve application 24-210 for a period of 5 years. As amended, I'm sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve application 24-211 with the condition proved it as no further writing be added to the canopy or sign, or entrance signs.
Second.
All in favor? Oh, yeah, we need a timer.
5 years, yeah, I'll make it, yeah, same. Keep going.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Once again.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you. Good
guys.
to see
You
you all.
too.
All right.
Okay, application 24-213 is being adjourned to December the 5th. Application
209.
24, yeah, okay, application 24-209 of Hydrophonics LLC, property located in West Babylon also.
I don't.
Name and address for the record, please.
Sure. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, honorable members of the board. Kevin O'Brien, O'Brien Law, PC, 462 Sagamore Avenue, East Williston, New York, here this evening representing this applicant. I also just want to introduce as well, I have with me Mr. Glenn Graham from Graham Associates. They're the design professionals who prepared the plans which are before the board. But I just would like to note that when the application was originally filed with the Town of Babylon, the design professionals were H2M at that time. They've been changed, all the appropriate documentation relative to the change of the design professionals have been submitted, and Mr. Graham's office has worked on similar applications.
Let me just read this stuff into the record.
I'm sorry?
I want to read the correspondence into the
Oh,
record.
sure, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I'll let you go for a little bit, but.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for cutting me off. I appreciate that.
For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated November 14, 2024. A Environmental Control memo dated November 12, 2024. If we were to approve this application, it would need a neg deck. Fire Marshal's report dated November 21st, 2024. The building is vacant and secure, no access. You will have to get the fire marshal there to check everything out. Suffolk County Planning memo dated, November 21st, 2024. Decision of local determination, take no position for or against. Tax map acting as an area map. Plans by Peter Barbazon dated April 25th, 2024, and
Chairman, is 8 photographs in the site plan by Michael K. Dunn dated April 25th, 2024.
And we are missing the affidavit of posting. Do you have that with you?
The affidavit of posting? You posted the...
How many photos?
was it posted for 10 days?
Yes, yes, it was
Okay,
posted.
so we don't have an affidavit, so either you got to get it to us or fill one out before you leave.
Sure. I will, I think we may have emailed it to the, I don't know if we have the original with us, but I think we might have emailed it. But I'll take a look, and we'll certainly make sure that you have it.
Okay. Okay, now you're on.
Okay. Good evening once again, and like I said, just by way of a little bit of backstory, like I said, it was originally started with H2M, but then Graham Associates, design professionals, have the plans that are before you currently, and they have also worked on applications of this nature within the town of Babylon. So essentially, this is an application for special exception to allow the retail cannabis dispensary and diminish off-street parking from 29 to 22. However, there was a slight modification. We did appear before the planning board earlier this week, and in conjunction with looking at the site, they did some calculations relative to the handicap stalls, and they didn't need as many as they had. So by making modification, there is actually one additional parking space that was added. And so as a result of that, I think we have 23 as opposed to the 22. So the relief requested relative to that is is 6 as opposed to the 7 that was originally proposed. Like I said, we did appear before the planning board for an informational hearing. There was a memo to planning with respect to that, enumerating a number of sort of conditions that are being proposed. The applicant, and I have one of the principals of the applicant here with me this evening, and they agreed to all those conditions that were being proposed in connection with that memo. As noted in the call of the calendar, it is an existing building, so the building itself and the structure itself, the four corners and the perimeter of the building is to remain the same. So we're not proposing any increase the size of the building. We're basically just going to convert the use of the building, which was a retail use before. However, that retail use was essentially gravestone or monument sales, and to now we're seeking the special exception for the cannabis sales. And as I noted with the planning board, it was fully vetted before we actually even filed the application. We're in the industrial zoning district. We're in the correct zoning district. We have the licensing from the state. We did go through the different criteria, with respect to where it's located, that it's not within 500 feet of educational facilities, it's not within 500 feet of the parks and playgrounds. There be no consumption on site. And so we did review the memo, which was prepared and presented to the zoning board, and there were a number of suggestions or conditions or proposals on the back of that memo relating to the hours of operation, that they would not exceed 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. On Monday through Saturday, nor would they exceed 10 a.m. To 8 p.m. on Sunday, which we agreed to that. No on-site consumption of products, we agreed to that. No outdoor events at the location, we agreed to that. And there was one other thing noted regarding a recorded cross-access agreement with respect to the contiguous property, which is part of this. We do have a parking agreement, which I believe was submitted to the town in connection with the application, and we certainly, can have that agreement put together in recordable form with the approval of the town attorney's office, which was noted in the memo to the zoning board. Relative to the operator's actual proposed business plan, if I can, I guess I can't actually submit this into the record, but I could try. And I had one that was, forgive me, that was maybe a little bit older, wasn't necessarily updated, which I had a copy of, but I understand this was updated. So if the board would indulge me, I can, it might be, somewhat helpful. So the entity is committed to providing seamless and secure shopping experience for our customers in the cannabis retail sector. Our operational approach, which is characterized by systematic employee scheduling and strategic customer service protocols, is designed to ensure efficiency and safety while complying with all local and state regulations. So Monday through Thursday, the staffing would have 3 employees during peak hours, and you have this sort of overlapping shifts. So you have 2 employees be available between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m., 1 employee between 12 p.m. and 8 p.m., 2 between 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. Our armed security guard will be present between 8 and 3, and then there'll be a shift change and somebody else. So like I said, you have these overlapping shifts. The operational team extends to 5 employees. 2 will be present, and this is on Friday to Sunday, between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m., and 3 employees to cover the 1 p.m. and 9 p.m. shift. Customer interaction, unique customer service strategy involves thorough ID verification managed by armed security guard using New York State ID readers. Customers, it'll kind of be 2 operational sort of centers in the sense that you have customers who pre-selected items via the website can have expedited processing as they can proceed to a counter where their orders are already set up. This makes for a faster operation. Customers who have not, can meet with one of the employees, and they can select. There's also that product identification, the ID verification. Either explore products categories freely or consult with knowledgeable, I guess they call them budologists, for guidance. This ensures every customer receives personalized service, aligns with their needs, accommodate our customers' needs, reduce in-store traffic via 2 compact unmarked cars during business hours. Sales operations to facilitate efficient sales will operate a minimum of 3 point-of-sale systems at all times, scaling up to 5 systems during peak hours. Thursday from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. and Friday through Sunday from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. Transactions are processed through debit cards or cash. We'll comply with all the local state regulations regarding sales, enforcement, clear in-store signage to ensure compliance with New York State cannabis regulations. During non-business hours, all cannabis products and cash will be stored at the close of every business day in a sealed vault inside the premises. Strict policy against outdoor events, promotions, or anything along those lines. And in conclusion, aim to create a structured, flexible retail atmosphere. And I think essentially, perhaps, we've learned.
We're good.
Okay, got it. And I think probably the big thing is that there is this pre-ordering and delivery. So, we've noticed from some of the other operations in the town in the beginning, there was a little bit of a crush, but I think through the deliveries and the more of these places that get established, each one can handle this. And by comparison to some of the other ones, this is relatively small. I think some of the other ones are much larger in size and in capacity. So I guess in conclusion, though, if there are any interested observers or the board may have some questions, we meet the criteria as set forth in the town's code. We do have the state licensing, and we would look for the board's favorable discretion in connection with the application, and happy to answer any questions by the board or members of the public.
Turn the hearing over to Mr. Shepherd.
How are you?
Good, good.
So at the height of the business, what's the most employees, and including the security and?
5.
5, okay. You will produce a cross-access parking agreement?
Yes, yeah. As a matter of fact, I have one. I could probably even, I could submit it to the board. I thought it was previously submitted, but I could certainly email it and.
Do it to the town attorney, send it to the
Sure.
town attorney.
Yep, absolutely.
I have no further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application?
Is the applicant looking to amend the requested relief for the parking variance? Do you have updated plans? You said you have 23 parking spaces now? It was advertised as 22.
They were submitted to planning prior to the planning board hearing, but I mean, we could,
Separate boards.
okay, we could certainly keep the relief that's requested as it currently is, and if we provide more, we provide more.
Well, they'd have to match, so whatever you submitted to planning board, if that's what you're moving forward with, should be the same with the zoning.
Okay, then I request that we amend the relief requested for 23 parking spaces instead of the 22 that we were previously requesting, where 29 is required, 23 will be provided.
So they're gonna need those plans as well. They need 3 sets of plans for that.
Sure, I'll make sure that those will be delivered tomorrow, and we'll have 3 sets of hard copies, and you want email copies as well, I would, okay. Okay, forgive me, I thought, I know the world has been moving to
Along with the
portals and stuff.
cross-access agreement.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll make a motion to amend the application to read from 29 to 23.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The only other thing here is the fire marshal's report, or is anything going on in there? Did you start building? Did anything go on, or?
No, the premises is vacant. We're waiting for approvals to begin interior demolition and the like.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so, yeah, we need a neg deck on this, so I'll make a motion to adopt a negative declaration on application 24209.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to speak.
Oh, sorry. Come on up. Would anybody else like to be heard?
Good evening. My name is Randy Van Yeries. I'm the Director of Planning Development for the Catholic Cemeteries. The owner and operator is St. John Cemetery, the adjacent property. I've been employed 34 years, the Director of Development for 26. I developed the entrance on Wellwood Avenue that was a result of numerous accidents, which included fatalities. The entrance was realigned as per the request for the planning board and the county to meet Beth Moses Cemetery. That resulted in the intersection moving 140 feet to the south, which diminished the turning lanes into the cemetery and diminished the turning lanes into Patton. The cemetery's activities, both Beth Moses and ours, are active in the property. Our concern is that this is creating an active hazard in terms of the traffic patterns that will develop. Wellwood Avenue is an active 50-mile-an-hour zone that is not policed. If you've ever driven the road, you know that the police do not pull. I've worked there for 34 years. I've never seen the police pull anybody over. It is a high-speed road that is not controlled in any manner, way, shape, or form. The manner in which this property will be developed will have access onto Wellwood Avenue that is a blind spot caused by the turning lane of Patton. In addition, nobody controls left-hand turns from all active businesses that are on the east side of Wellwood Avenue. They repeatedly cross the solid yellow line and then proceed south. That traffic will not be able to see any of the oncoming traffic that is coming down southerly on Wellwood Avenue, blocked by anybody turning left into Patton. This kind of business, while I have no problem with the business as per se, mine is the creation of a hazardous condition. This type of business is going to have a more active participation coming in and out of the parking lot than any memorial dealer would have ever had in the past. So I would ask that the board consider those hazardous conditions that could be created. Has anybody had a traffic study initiated as to what can be the impacts of this type of business in that location. You'll be answering next month, because I've also been given notice, of a special use permit for Barnwell Tires that is down the road a little bit. And that's going to be, I believe, on December 5th, your next meeting date. That is another active property where they do large equipment repairs for tires. Repeatedly, they will back an 18-wheel truck onto Wellwood Avenue and stop traffic with only one gentleman holding traffic at bay. So these kind of activities are persistent on Wellwood Avenue, and they are unpoliced, as you know, because there is no coverage with the police coverage for this type of activity. So when this particular business is considered by the board, I would ask that you look at that aspect, because our funerals are coming in their window of activity, and Patton, as it is, I frequently watch funerals go head to head with people trying to make turns to get into the turning lane of Patton Boulevard. They always cross into our turning lane into the cemetery prior to what is the double yellow line. So those kind of traffic activities are kind of contrary to safety, and I bring to the board that's the thought of these hazardous conditions, so they consider them. Thank you for your time.
Sir, can you just spell out a form of your name and address for us for the record, please?
Am I writing it?
And do you affirm to tell the truth on everything you just told us? I do. Okay. Thank you. Would anyone else like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none.
I would like the plans, though.
Yeah, yeah, we're not gonna move it anyway, so. Okay, we're gonna close the hearing, we're gonna reserve decision. We're gonna keep the record open for new plans. Fire marshal.
Do you want to ask if there was a traffic study made? Sir?
Was there a traffic study done, or have you considered the traffic?
We have considered the traffic, and we understand that sometimes there may be backups from the funerals, but that doesn't impact, what we have over here. And I think the concept here, which is that it's going to be right hand in, right hand out. So the turns that are be coming in would be going into the site. The curb cuts are existing to remain. Everything over there is existing to remain, and we would direct it in such a manner. And if signage posting is necessary, we'll certainly do that as well. But everyone has looked at it and said, yes, right hand turns in, right hand turns out.
But the question was there a traffic study performed?
I believe there may have been.
Would you be able to submit that with the rest of the plans?
Sure.
Thank you.
You agree to put some right in, right out? sign?
Yeah, right hand, yeah, right hand in, right out. Yeah. Okay.
Just for the record, we're reserving both the next deck and any decision until we receive.
All those plans.
Yep. Everything we just talked about, we need to receive before we do anything.
Fire marshal,
Okay.
parking agreement,
All right,
plans.
We'll get that over to you.
all right. All right,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next application is application 24-183. Michael J. and Joseph M. Murata, property located in Copeg. Name and address for the record, please.
Christopher Ang, 93 Main Street, West Sayville.
And do you affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated November 18th, 2024. Environmental Control memo dated November 11th, 2024. Just that this is abutting wetlands, that you should be aware of that, which I'm sure you are. Suffolk County Planning memo dated November 18th, 2024. No storm runoff should be discharged into the adjoining body of water. Survey by Christopher Eng, dated anybody see a date? I do not see a date. Okay, undated. And
And, Mr. Chairman, there's 8 photographs and a side plan by Christopher Ang dated October 25th, 2024.
okay, would
And
you like to
can
tell?
we make the amendments as per the revised planning memo dated November 18th? You can see the variance change is in the memo if you want to make the amendment that way.
Okay, I'll make an amendment on application 24-183 for the revised variances on this, number 7. No, number.
Second.
November, as per the planning memo dated November 18th, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Good evening. We are proposing a front portico, one-story addition, and second-story additions on an existing one-story home. With those additions, we are diminishing the front yard setback from 40 feet required to 34.4 feet proposed. We are also diminishing the north side setback from 15 feet required to 13.5 feet proposed. The total side yards from 35 feet required to 29.1 feet proposed, and increasing the building area from 15% required to 21.93% proposed. That is over by 949.9 square feet. Also increasing the garage bays from 2 bays to 3 bays. And the area of garage from the 500 feet required to 608 square feet proposed. We're over by 108 square feet on that. And we're increasing the area of the front yard used for the driveway from 40% required to 66.2. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm actually reading the
You're reading the one that's
the wrong one.
the wrong one.
Yeah. Can I actually go back to the to number 6, which is increasing the area of the front yard used for a driveway from 40 feet to 53.19%. And we're over by 407 square feet on that. Let me just go through the other ones.
You're also eliminating number 5 on the original one from
That-
2 bays to.
That's correct. I apologize. We're going to keep the 2 bays instead of the 3 bays on the garage. And I was able to meet up with planning to get the revisions on the planning memo, and I think we were able to come to an agreement on the application and what we're asking for from the board.
Okay, thank you. Turn here over to Mr. Dellavecchia.
Good evening, how are you?
Good. How are you?
What is the need for all the additions?
It's just a house that they plan on being in for a very long time. So the additions are going to help, kind of stabilize them in the neighborhood.
Okay. And the second-story addition is going directly over the first-story addition? You're
That's
not
correct.
extending any further?
No, we have one second-story deck that's going to go over, but it's not a large deck. I think it's 5 feet by 10 feet.
Like a primary stateroom deck, I guess?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. And then the patio with the portico, I guess, in the back, that's being eliminated as well?
That's correct. One of the items that we had to get approved was the additions and the driveway through New York State DEC, which we have the approval on that. And one of their statements on that, or the request, was that we took that away.
Okay. Would you agree to not enclose the front portico
Yes,
and the second-story deck above or below?
that's correct.
No commercial work permitted in the garage?
No commercial work.
And no habitable space permitted in the garage?
That's correct.
I have no further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve application 24-183 as amended with the 4 conditions stated on the planning memo.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Next application is application 24204 of New Gen Auto, property located in West Babylon.
Good evening. Joseph C. Hubbard, 619 Deer Park Avenue, Babylon, New York. I'm an attorney appearing on behalf of the applicant.
Okay, for the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated November 8, 2024, Environmental Control memo dated November 12, 2024. The applicant must continue to operate cognizant of the potential land uses. Fire Marshal's report dated November 14, 2024, has no objections. Tax map acting as an area map, a survey by Eugene Kempfe, dated, or last dated 6/2/21. And,
Chairman, there's 3 photographs.
okay, would you like to tell us about the application?
Yeah, this is an existing used car lot with a commodious offices. They sell used cars. They've been doing it there for at least, what is it, 5 years? Since 2017. Yeah, since 2017, so that would be like 7 or 8 years. They've never had any problems. I noticed that one of the comments was that they had too many vehicles there. In speaking to the applicant, he assures me that that's generally not the case, that once in a while, a bunch of leased cars come back at the same time, but they're disposed of within a day or two. So they're not usually there, it's not overused. We'd ask that the application be granted. It's been approved a number of times in the past. As to the lapse, the applicant was ill at that period of time, and he was involved in a lot of testing, and it affected his attention to the paperwork details of the business, and he apologizes for that lapse. And it's a non-recurring type of a lapse. It was a health issue.
Okay, thank you. I'll turn here over to Mr. Shepherd.
How are you?
How am I?
Yes.
I'm
Checking
doing
in
pretty
on you.
well.
Good, you look good.
Yeah, you know, I guess you're aware of my issues.
I understand. So I did a drive-by, and the car's on the street and on the front and side road. Are they his, or we,
Now what?
do they belong to the business? I was there last week. Last week I did a drive-by.
Which cars? Which road?
Name and address for the records.
Burgess
John
and,
Sinikos, 885 Allen Drive?
Okay, you
Swear
affirm
to
to
tell
tell
the
the
truth?
truth?
Yes.
Okay, now, go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, well, you got the cars in front, right here in the picture, in front of the window, which, that's not allowed.
Yeah, that was taken quite some time ago, but that...
Well, I got one right here
Very
that
rarely.
used to.
Very rarely, that was an off-lease vehicle. So that was gone, I think, within 72 hours, 48 hours.
It's 3 days. All right, and on the sides, the side of the Burgess Avenue and Sunrise Highway?
Burgess Avenue?
Yeah,
We don't
Yeah.
park cars there.
Those cars were not yours?
No.
All right, you need to keep compliant to what you submitted.
Okay.
And what does it look like today? What does it look like, if I drive by there tomorrow?
Can I show you pictures?
Sure.
We're not really can submit a picture, I don't think, can we? Mr.
We can, yeah, we got to keep your phone, though.
You just return back in the morning. I'm good.
You'd have to
If you go
submit
by
it as
tomorrow-
evidence,
Please,
but
by all means, go by that tomorrow.
All right, I will. And, yeah, don't be late,
Yeah.
all right?
I was dealing with a lot this year, so.
Okay, I mean, we all have that, I understand. I have no further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. You want to drive by first? Yeah, okay. We're going to close the hearing and reserve decision. You'll get the decision in the mail. All right? Thank you.
very much, and have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
All right, counsel, the floor is yours.
That concludes the Zoom portion of our meeting. We'll continue with the